So here we have a Warfighter engaged analog joystick that user sent to me that he's having some problems with, and this is outputting as analog data. So it goes through a TRRS tip ring sleeve 4 conductor cable that goes into the back of the Xbox adaptive controller and the X1, X2 ports. And they're also used, they'll come up a lot with the PlayStation 5 access controller because they only accept these sorts of joysticks. They don't have USB. Now, let me show you why I typically don't like dealing with the TRRS. It's much simpler wiring. It doesn't require microcontroller programming, so that's all cool. But the difficulty you have, and I have to activate this window so this will show up. The difficulty you'll have is what you're seeing in this preview here. I have already popped open this joystick and I didn't see anything obviously horrendous going on inside. It's clean, it's nicely wired, and all is fine. But as you can see, it doesn't have very much stability at all. And it's how the Xbox adaptive controller is sampling this stick and whatnot. So since I have it here on my desk, I might as well open it up again and show you, and then we could talk about possible solutions. So let me see if I can get this window a little bit wider. Still messing around with this software, which has actually been very handy software. I'm using OBS, which is a open source project I just learned about, but it's been around, I guess, a long time, since they're up to version 32. So I'm a little late in the game with that. So the Warfighter Engage stuff, there's some screws on the bottom. I have no idea how many normally come with this. I'm guessing 4. There were only 2 in here. One thing you'll notice as I'm taking stuff apart is I'll often use some nail polish, colored nail polish, to mark screws and holes. So if I'm unsure, if I'm not recording what I'm doing or not taking pictures, which is very often the case, I could see what's going on. So that part that I just took off is part of the mount. This is the actual bottom. It's really very nicely 3D printed. I know the Warfighter guy is now retired, but really nicely designed, really strong, super strong, and you can tell that he knew what he's doing. He does know what he's doing, I should say. So here's the inside of the stick, and let me unplug it from the Xbox so it connects via this guy. You could see. So inside, it's clean. I don't see any there wasn't a can of Coke spilled on this or anything, something that I might see in certain cases. But these are sticks that are held in place with screws from the top. And again, this normally should have 4. It has 2. I have spares, so when I put this back together, I'll put some more screws in here. And when you're working with this stuff, it's always a good idea to have like a Phillips number 1, Phillips number 0, and then a Phillips number 2 screwdrivers, so you have all the sizes. So there, that pops off. Again, nice and chunky. So here's the joystick. This is a very similar joystick to what I use in my MIDI controllers. This one originally had probably one of those twisty top things. I could tell that because when I took it open, I saw that there's the wires floating around in there that go through here to go to the buttons on top. Everything, there's really nothing crazy going on here. I think there's 2 things I'm going to try with this stick before I delve into other solutions. The first is because there were wires in here and wires in here. Those wires might have been gotten jangled and jammed around. And that might be causing a problem. It could be as simple as that. So I'll try that. The other thing I'll do, and this is, again, the benefit of me working on my using joysticks for musicians, is that a lot of times analog sticks and potentiometers will kind of float a little bit. And if you put a low value capacitor across the between the wiper and the ground, and I've been using 1UF non-polarity capacitors that would sit between the ground and the wiper on both of these. A lot of times that'll clean up the output. So if it's an output problem because of the pots, that might help. So okay, there we go. The back comes off again. This is exactly what I'm used to seeing in my other sticks. And let me see if I have some tweezers around. I don't have any tweezers here, of course, but I do have my a little pick here. So what I'm going to do, since these aren't used, I'm just going to pull them completely out. So this you know, could screw up the mechanics inside. So now let me put the cover back on here. Now that I've taken those off. And these little black screws on these sticks use a number 0 joystick. Oh, there it goes floating around. Also, as you can see, helpful hint, though I have 3D printed jigs and supports for it. If you're working on these sticks, it's often beneficial to have them sitting on the on a base of some sort to keep it stable, so you can work upright and take fascinating videos like this one. So there we go. I keep knocking into my camera. Sorry about that. I'll adjust it in a second. Oh, and I have a cat that just jumped in here to add to the excitement. Before I put this in, let me just lay this on the table. And I'm going to plug it back into the Xbox. And let's see if I could get that window back there. Let's see if that... you know what? I'm going to have to click on this window. Oh, I need like 4 arms, that's for sure. Let's see. Well, you know what? That very well may have been the primary problem with this stick. Is those little wires sitting in there. Oh, isn't that a hell of a thing? Now, it's not exactly centering, because that's part of the problem with using just the TRRS. Normally, when I run it and I sample the data through USB and make them USB, I have code that handles dead zones and centering so that it ignores this jiggle-jaggle in the middle. But this is actually working far better than it was before. Interesting. You know what, since I have this thing open, I'll probably still install those capacitors I was talking about. Since I got it open anyway, I'll reheat all these joints, make sure that everything is still held in place, and then put it all back together and see how it behaves then. And if it misbehaves, I do have another solution, which I think I'll do another video for at some point. So stay tuned.